Good morning. Good morning, kings and queens of the land. Good morning, the royals. Good morning to the liberated zones in Africa. Good morning to Burkina Faso, which is led by the Lion President Ibrahim Traore. Good morning to Mali, led by the Sahel Lion President Assimi Goita. Good morning to Niger, led by President Abdurrahman Tian. Good morning to the Lions of the Sahel. Good morning to KZN, led by the MK party, led by President Jacob Kele Zuma. Good morning to KZN. Good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen, with all this protocol observed. My name is Mngoni Mkonto. This is the royal opinion. Yesterday was a peak of politics in South Africa. The drama unfolding in all dimensions, in all directions. The political dramas unfolding. We will talk about, let's talk about the actual issues. The colonial budget having been passed in South Africa, the colonial tax increased to 17%, we can say, because it's year after year agreement, it will be increased like that. The drama playing in parliament, people, the Democratic Alliance, the GNU, pretending like they are in havoc, pretending like, ah, nice one, my sister, Cynthia Malope joining. Morning, Booty. Good morning to everyone who is joining. Good morning to Queen Cynthia Malope. Thank you very much for joining. Uh, if you focus on the drama, if you focus on the drama, if you focus on what the drama which they are playing, you lose sight of their plan. Because the drama that they play is for the purpose to make you lose sight of the actual happening. What is happening dramatically in parliament is the the Democratic Alliance, and the ANC forming the GNU have been able to pass the colonial tax as we've predicted in the royal opinion, that these two will pass the colonial tax. Uh, the Democratic Alliance, let me explain first about the Democratic Alliance. Good morning to King Victor Shongwe there. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for being part of the lecture today. Let me talk about the Democratic Alliance first, their position, the way they are appearing. If you follow the drama, if you follow um, their actions, if you follow what is happening there, you will lose sight of the actual thing which is happening. The actual thing, it's all a deception. The actual thing which was happening yesterday in Parliament was the passing of the colonial tax. Or maybe before I talk about the passing of the colonial tax, let me talk about the MK victory. MK party was involved in by-elections in KwaZulu Natal, KwaDukuza, and Pongolo municipalities. In KwaDukuza, the MK party has won decisively with a majority. In actual fact, let me just share this video because it's here.
Results ameyanjena. The ANC 202.
Okay, all right.
The IFP no. Abantu abavotile about 442. Bancane abantu abavotile, half of them. The ANC 202, IFP 14, EFF 7, Mkhonto wesizwe 231. Makomanda, asikulen sonke lasiya ngalena vele sesiyalithi khona i-bomb squad ngalena. 80% ngalena.
EFF 16 votes. All together, including top. IFP 34. ANC 794. Now, comrades, please untie and sit pushing down. Phuma khona. Hayibo. MK Party 1,000.
There we go. There we go. The MK party winning decisively, winning the ground, winning the votes on the ground, winning what 28 decisively, and winning a ward in Pongolo municipalities. The MK party dwindling the EFF into insignificant, dwindling the EFF into insignificant, the MK party dwindling the ANC into insignificant. The vote for the EFF in the Pongolo municipality, it's around 7 votes for sure is one person and his family, probably, or two people and their families, probably, who voted for the EFF in those in Pongolo. And then when we go to what 28, the MK party winning decisively with 1,600 and uh, more than 1,600 votes, if we give an estimate. And the ANC followed by around about 900 and something vote, which almost the MK party votes are double to that of the ANC. On the other side, the GNU are celebrating the passing of the budget. Maybe I should uh, share some of the videos about. Before I share the video about the passing of the budget, let me first explain the position in which the Democratic Alliance find itself. The Democratic Alliance find itself in a position, and why I want to explain why the Democratic Alliance is in the position where it is. Before I get deeper into these issues, first, the Democratic Alliance is the party of uh, our colonizers, is the political organization these are the people who have been administering the collection of VAT from black people since the 1700. VAT is a colonial tax which was started in the 1700 to assist white people to run government in South Africa, or to assist white people to oppress black people in South Africa. The colonial tax was started to force black people into slave working for slave wages. Black people initially were not interested in working for white people. That's why they went to India to get people to come and work in the sugar cane fields in Durban. They went to India with ships to collect slaves to come and work in the sugarcane fields in Durban, in KwaZulu Natal, because black people were not interested in working for slave wages. The colonial tax was introduced in order to force the black people to into the slave wage economy. How they did it is the black people did not have the currency. The currency was with the white man. The white man, the queen wanted black people to pay tax for existing in the land of the queen. Today they call it VAT. Initially they called it the head tax. Let us give context to history. Calling it the head tax in the previous years and now changing to a value added tax, in order to hide the fact that this is a colonial tax which was started to force black people into the slave economy. The tax collector, or SARS by then wanted the money, wanted black people to pay tax in currency which Africans did not have and did not even need, because Africans were working their fields without getting paid by anybody. They were working to feed their families. They were not working for slave families. They were not slaving for other families. So the Democratic Alliance, which is now, today called the Democratic Alliance, is the one who implemented this tax. This tax, even up to today, it's meant to help white people. The VAT increase, which has been implemented immediately when Ramaphosa took over government, he increased the VAT from 14 to 1%. Year on year, Ramaphosa has been able to, in the first year of his rule in South Africa, he's been able to collect more than 30 billion more from people, from black people, from this hate tax that we are talking about, which is today the VAT. All the money goes to the IMF, the International Mafia Forum. I call them the International Mafia Forum. The International Mafia Forum are the ones who uh, determine the amount of VAT increase in each and every country. South Africa owes more than 3 trillion, more than 3 trillion to the International Mafia Forum. South Africa owing 3 trillion to the International Mafia Forum. The International Mafia Forum dictates on how the country should behave when it comes to budget allocations. First, they determine where you should take the increase. That's why they never increase the corporate tax. They're only increasing the head tax, which is the collection from black people. Yesterday, I went to a supermarket and another old lady was so excited. She was very excited that Ramaphosa has increased their pension. Very excited. She was so excited in a way. She was even talking that she has to continue to vote for Ramaphosa because Ramaphosa is working, is giving them increase. But at the same time, without realizing that the same money, the same increase which was put into the uh, social grants is the one which is going to be taken through the increase in VAT. So these technicalities, all people normally don't know. So the Democratic Alliance that we are talking about is the Democratic Alliance which has been strategizing and which has been the one which implemented the colonial tax to black people. So the Democratic Alliance cannot be the hero of, cannot come and claim heroism in defending people against tax. Even in this instance, where they are playing the drama of divorce with the ANC, I'll explain why I say it's drama of divorce with the ANC. The Democratic Alliance uh, is the one which is leading government, has been the one leading government, and is the one who implemented the colonial tax, which is the VAT increase in South Africa. But at the same time, they have a worry that the MK party uh, is taking more attention from the people on the ground. So they decided to strategize. I thought this will not happen very soon. I thought they will maybe reserve the strategy for later on, where the Democratic Alliance wants to pretend like they've exited government in order to take over the opposition party position. Now they've positioned themselves. If you listen to them, they talk like they wanted the ANC to never increase the VAT because it will be a burden on black people. But that is not true, because they said on their statement before that they would vote with the ANC if the ANC allowed the expropriation of land without compensation. If they allowed to review the Bella bill, if they allowed to review the expropriation of land without compensation. So basically, it was not about the interest of people or the interest of black people. But now they are claiming to be the defender of the people. The reason they do this is they want to try to dominate the MK party in the news, because that's what they have to do in order to keep their middle class people sleeping. The MK party has shown and demonstrated that the ground has moved from the colonizers to the owners of the land. The Democratic Alliance and the ANC does not know how to stop the MK party. Now they have decided to separate in order to allow the Democratic Alliance to take over the opposition seat in parliament and relegate the MK party to be as insignificant as the EFF. The EFF, you never hear them. They have been eliminated, reduced into insignificant. If you check their elections, even in these by-elections, there's nowhere where they're appearing to be anything strong. Even in Limpopo, they won't be able to win any election. EFF will not be able to win any ward in any part of the country in South Africa. So they realize that when we leave the MK party with the EFF has already dwindled into insignificance. Julius Malema must just find himself a position in the ANC for him to continue eating as he likes. Sorry about it. I was talking to somebody else. So the ANC, I mean the Democratic Alliance and the ANC, Ramaphosa had a meeting, and in that meeting he was talking about it was audio which was leaked. The audio was leaked by Ramaphosa himself. There's nobody else who leaked that audio to give an impression to people that it does not care about white people. It does not care whether the GNU collapse or not. But that audio, it was actually leaked by Ramaphosa in order to confuse people. But the reason the Democratic Alliance and the ANC are playing like they don't want each other this time around is to change the positions, because they realize that if they allow the MK party to be the one dominating the VAT increase uh, debacle, or the ones who are fighting against the VAT increase, then most South Africans will just automatically side with the MK party. Now, the Democratic Alliance want to be the one leading against, pretending to lead against the VAT increase. They will want to take the issue to the court ahead of the MK party in order to confuse people, because they knew if the MK party, if they were in government, if they were the leaders, they were to be blamed for the VAT increase. Now, to confuse the South African public, the Democratic Alliance is appearing as both the presser man and the presser man and the liberator. The Democratic Alliance want to play the oppressor and the liberator at the same time. They want to play both characters. So now they want to take over the jacket of being liberators of black people, fighting against the ANC colonial tax. While in actual fact, the ANC is collecting on their behalf. The mandate of collecting the VAT is on their behalf. Black people will be watching the drama as it unfolds in Parliament, forgetting that the VAT increase has been implemented, forgetting that the Democratic Alliance and the ANC have actually achieved their goal of increasing the VAT. It sounds like a thriller the when you watch SABC, when you watch the report about the VAT increase. It looks like it's a thriller, it's a drama, but the main thing is to confuse people and people to focus on the drama which is happening, while the colonial tax has been implemented. This deception is the colonial tax has been implemented, and they want people to focus on the drama of separation between the ANC and the Democratic Alliance, while the ANC and the Democratic Alliance will never separate. They calculated their numbers. They were sure about their numbers. They were 100% sure that they were going to pass the budget. They will be able to pass the budget. But they have to play the drama in a different way in order to confuse black people. Cynthia Malopi saying, my thoughts exactly. When I heard the audio, I knew it was leaked by papers. Being student of the royal opinion had made me understand things much better. Thank you very much. Indeed, it was leaked by himself. He leaked that thing in order to appear a hero. There's nothing against him there. There's nothing against the ANC. It's actually a campaign uh, audio for Ramaphosa and the GNU. It's actually a campaign. So when they say it's a leaked audio, they only wanted more people to be able to listen to Ramaphosa talking like his. Many people get confused when they hear Ramaphosa talk against Donald Trump. They think Ramaphosa is talking against white people. There's a war between secret societies, those who control the world. there are societies that control the world. Those secret societies are different, it's not the same society. The society that belongs to Donald Trump is not the same as the one that the white people, the Democratic Alliance, and the rest of the white people belong to. Europe is also insulting Donald Trump. White people from Europe, they don't like Donald Trump. White, the British Empire does not like Donald Trump. So when you hear Ramaphosa talking against Donald Trump, he's not talking for black people, he's talking for his European masters. So Ramaphosa is not talking for black people, is not talking for South Africa, is talking and representing his own uh, masters, which are the white people from Britain. So when he talks like he's a he's a fighter for black people against Donald Trump, he's never like that. It's just that he's got an opportunity to do that because he's got a backing of the European Union to do that. Ramaphosa will never go against his white people. The Democratic Alliance will never go against VAT increase. Don't be fooled about the drama that the Democratic Alliance and the ANC are playing. This is for preparation of the 2026 election. Now, the MK party has decisively won the two wards which were contested in KwaZulu Natal. The MK party has a total of six councillors, six ward councillors, before the MK party contest any local elections. Before the MK party has an opportunity to officially contest any elections, they already have six councillors across South Africa in different areas. Before they can even win a ward in a place where they are more powerful, like Mpumalanga, like Gauteng, like KZN, they already won wards in a ward in the Western Cape, in the stronghold of the Democratic Alliance. This is what makes them to panic. This is what caused them to pretend like they are breaking away from each other. In order for the EF for the Democratic Alliance to get back to its official opposition. If you listen to the interview on SABC, if you listen to the interviews on SABC, you will realize that the MK party was made to speak, the last organization to speak, to comment about the budget was the MK party. The reason is like that is because all the other political organizations are controlled by the same person. So, because all of the political organizations are controlled by the same person, those political organizations have to be given time before the one which is not controlled, which is out of control from this person. South Africa must say thank you to President Zuma for forming the MK party. South Africa was gone under the watch of the economic freedom fighters. It was gone under the watch of the ANC. President Zuma recovered South Africa. He's dusting it. He's trying to dust it of the negative elements. The Democratic Alliance is now going to be uh, actively being the opposition to the ANC in parliament. They will want to dominate the news to exclude the MK party. The MK party is not playing its game or in the gallery, which is parliament, where they have set up the stage for them to go and play the drama. The MK party is going to the ground and winning over the ground. It's difficult for the ANC and the Democratic Alliance to rob the local elections, because the local elections are different in that they are declared now in the same ward. Voting happens among people who know each other. If you use somebody who is dead, the community knows that this one cannot be voting because they died 2 years ago. So you can't use that. If you go and take other people from other ward to come and vote here, the community knows that this person is not from here. They know each other. So it's very difficult for the ANC to rob election, or for the Democratic Alliance to rob elections. The Democratic Alliance at the moment uh, act as the opposition, as the official opposition in parliament. But when we go to the local government elections now, they are only crying to recover their cities. They only want to recover, or to make sure that they secure their rural towns. The Democratic Alliance in each and every town has been put, white people have been put to govern each and every town in South Africa. Each and every rural town is governed by white people. Croblas Dal, Marble Hall, all of these Bronco Sprit, all of these white towns are governed by the Democratic Alliance. And not because the Democratic Alliance is a bigger organization than the MK party, because they have robbed election during the national elections. Now it is showing on the ground with the current by elections. They can see that there's nothing that they can do to the MK party. The MK party is taking everything in the ground. Almost impossible for them to rob the elections. So let us not be fooled by the movements, or, or by the drama which the ANC and the Democratic Alliance are playing in parliament. The colonial tax which they wanted has been implemented. That is what is key. The MK party must fight against this colonial tax. We must never lose focus in what we are fighting to achieve. The MK party is going to continue to take over the ground. The reason they robbed the election is to ensure that they discourage South Africans from voting. They discourage the young people from voting, because what's the use if you are going to work so hard, you're going to go and campaign, invest so much money from so much different people, only for the election to be robbed? What is the use of doing all of those things? Ramaphosa was not even campaigning during the national elections. He was just paying the relevant people, the IEC paying all the relevant people who are going to be handling the elections, so that the ANC will win the elections. While the President Zuma and the MK party were on the ground campaigning, Ramaphosa was just paying the officials which will be handling the elections, so that they can rob the elections on his behalf. Of course, he's got the backing of the European Union with him as his masters. That's what happened. So now, this is the last strategy which the Democratic Alliance is taking. If the strategy that they've implemented now fails, then the MK party is immediately taking over. This is the last kick of the dying horse. The Democratic Alliance and the ANC wants to play both the the government and the liberators, changing the white party to look like the liberators so that black people get confused and vote for white people, while making the ANC, which was supposed to stand for black people, to be the one implementing the colonial laws. What is strategy? White people are very clever. And then black people will continue to vote for all of this nonsense, thinking that the Democratic Alliance is fighting for black people. The middle class are going to fall for this and vote for the Democratic Alliance. There was many middle class educated people. You say they are educated, but sometimes I ask myself, if somebody is called a professor, sometimes we take it like they are indeed a professor. It's only, even if you are a credible professor, you are a professor of what? It must be known. Some are professor of dogs, some of are professor of sick people. I mean, professor. There are different professors. Professor in worms. Some are studying worms. Some are studying professor in a lot of different issues. So all of those professors, if they say you are educated, it's only relevant for the people. If you are a professor in teaching, it's only relevant for the student. You cannot be a professor for everybody if you are a professor for teaching. If you are a professor for the dogs, you are a professor for the dogs. You cannot be a professor for everything. So the um, strategy which they are implementing, the education system which they have implemented, the people, the middle class that they've created, which get confused about the system of the education. I mean, the middle class people, when somebody comes and talk in television and say, this is Professor Whom. Professor of what? Professor, if you are a professor of law, you are only relevant in court. Why go and talk on television as a professor? You are only relevant in the issues of the court. If you are a professor of the cows, you are only relevant in the cow industry, where you are specializing. You cannot be just a general professor for everybody. It does not make any sense at all. So many people get confused and be afraid when somebody is called a professor. No, they should tell you what professor. Professor for what? If you are a professor of the what we call veterinary, what the animals, the goats. If you are professor of the wounds of the goats and then you come and talk to me about politics on TV, what relevancy are you there? How can you be a professor in that regard? They should not even announce them as professors. So the middle class get confused about that and start voting for the Democratic Alliance when the so-called professors go and analyze politics. The professors, which are propagandists employed by the politicians and the colonial masters to maintain the colonial system, to act as public relations officers of uh, the, the slave traders. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining the live session. Thank you very much, Mr. Victor Shongwe. Thank you very much, Queen Cynthia. Uh, Enjoy the rest of your day. This would be the end of our session today about the vet. Um, Probably today later or tomorrow morning, I want to talk about something very that has been in my heart for quite a bit now, for quite a little bit longer now. That I think I should talk about. I'll come out tomorrow to talk about it. The industrialization and the dehumanization of the black people, industrialization and dehumanization process of the black man. I think I should talk about that in the next lecture. Thank you very much. Let's meet in the next lecture.